Today I'm taking you on a journey that will prove that history doesn't have to be boring. Forget dry dates and battles. We'll focus on what's most interesting about it, the quirks of humanity. Because, people have always been, are, and will always be, well, a little weird. Regardless of era or culture, there's always someone who breaks the mold. Prepare for a dose of humor and surprise as we delve into the most absurd yet fascinating corners of the past. From tree burials to samurai helmets, there's bound to be something going on. Imagine Paris in the 19th century, a city of love, art, and tree funerals. Yes, you heard correctly. Parisians loved their chestnut trees so much that they held actual farewell ceremonies for them. Once, when a beloved chestnut tree in Place Pigalle withered, the locals couldn't accept it. They gave it a proper funeral. There was an orchestra, mourners in black, and solemn speeches. It was all like a funeral for an important person, except the main character was a chestnut tree. This shows how deep and sometimes surprising human feelings can be, even for trees. Who would have thought that Parisians loved their trees so much? Let's now travel to ancient Greece, where there lived a philosopher named Diogenes. He was a man who valued simplicity above all else, so much so that he lived in a large clay barrel. Diogenes was known for his disdain for convention and wealth. He lived an ascetic life, his only possessions being a barrel and a cup, which he later threw away after seeing a boy drinking water from his hand. One day, Alexander the Great himself, ruler of the world, visited him. Alexander, impressed by his independence, asked Diogenes what he wished for. He promised to fulfill his every desire. Diogenes' response went down in history. The philosopher, without moving, replied, "Go away, you're blocking the sun." This is the quintessence of his philosophy, simplicity and independence. This anecdote perfectly illustrates that true freedom isn't dependent on wealth or power. Sometimes all it takes is a little sunshine and a lack of obstacles. Now we jump to 17th century Holland, to the home of the renowned painter Jan Steen. His paintings are full of life, often depicting scenes of everyday life full of bustle and mess. It turns out that Steen not only painted chaos, but also lived in it. His home was so disorderly that it became synonymous with clutter. In Dutch, the expression Steen's house, Een huishouden van Jan Steen, still exists today. It is used to describe a place in utter disarray. Despite this artistic chaos, Steen created outstanding works. Perhaps this creative chaos inspired him? Who knows, perhaps chaos fosters genius. This proves that order isn't always the key to success. Sometimes an artistic soul needs a little freedom, even when it comes to cleaning. If you enjoy this type of content, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on more fun historical tidbits. Long videos appear every Saturday, but I try to publish shorts every other day. Your support will help me grow this channel and give me the impetus to continue working. Thanks! Let's travel to 16th century Japan, to the world of the samurai. These warriors were known for their discipline and honor, but they also had a certain extravagant side. It's about their helmets called kabuto. These weren't just practical headgear. Samurai wore helmets that looked like works of art, and sometimes like nightmares. Some were shaped like crabs, others like demons, and still others resembled deer antlers. Their purpose was not only to protect, but above all, to intimidate the enemy. Imagine seeing a warrior on the battlefield with a helmet shaped like a giant spider. It must have been impressive even before the sword was drawn. This is a perfect example of psychological warfare. Before combat began, the samurai were already winning the battle in the minds of their enemies. Now we return to ancient Rome, an empire renowned for engineering and luxury. The Romans loved their baths, which were the centers of social life. And here comes the unusual profession, master of luxury bath stoves. Sounds proud, doesn't it? This wasn't just anyone. His job was to maintain the ideal water temperature in the public baths. But not only that, he also had to ensure that the water was adjusted to the preferences of the wealthiest patrons. It was a precursor to today's premium services. Imagine having your own personal bathtub temperature specialist. Now that's luxury. This profession demonstrates how much the Romans valued comfort and how specialized their services could be, even in matters as mundane as bathing. Finally, let's travel to 18th century England to the estate of the eccentric Lord Rokeby. This gentleman was an extraordinary figure, known for his many eccentricities. One of these was his love of bathing. Lord Rokeby believed in the healing powers of water and spent a lot of time there. He had a special pool on his estate where he swam every day, regardless of the weather, even in winter when the water was icy. Moreover, he often entertained guests while sitting in this pool. Imagine a formal meeting with the host sitting in the water. It must have been an unforgettable experience for his guests. Lord Rokeby was the epitome of the British eccentric. He demonstrates that individualism and eccentricity are not a modern invention. As you can see, history isn't just about dates and facts. It's primarily about stories about people, their passions, quirks, and extraordinary ideas. From tree funerals to philosophers in barrels to samurai in demon helmets, every era had its quirks to add color to its story. I hope this journey through historical oddities has shown you that the past can be truly entertaining and inspiring. After all, isn't it fascinating how human people can be? Thank you for your attention, and see you on our next historical journey. Remember, history is everywhere. You just have to look carefully. Subscribe to Happy Stories to stay up to date with the funniest historical stories.